This video is brought to you by 3, bringing you 4G at no extra cost and some exclusive deals over at btech.com.
Hey guys, welcome to BTech. Today we're at the Motorola Moto E launch and we're going to take a look at the device for you, compare it against the Moto X and the Moto G. Hope you enjoy.
We've got the whole family here, the Motorola Moto E, the Moto G and the Moto X. The Moto E announced today along with a 4G variant of the Moto G. The Moto E comes with a 4.3-inch display. It's also the most affordable of the bunch, clocking in at just £89 sterling. That's incredibly cheap when you consider it spec point, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. 4.3 inches, 4.5 inches and 4.7 inches, so clearly staggered in terms of screen size. The resolution of these top two devices is 720 pixels per inch, whereas you've got a QHD resolution on the Motorola Moto E, sorry. If we take a look at the actual designs, all of these devices have exactly the same button formation. On the right hand side you've got volume rocker and power button, and at the base micro USB ports. No buttons on the left hand side, though the Moto X does have a nano SIM slot, while up at the top 3.5mm headphone jacks. Now the cameras and the backings, you have a unibody device in the Moto X, non-removable back covers, so when you get it, make sure that you like the one you've got. The Moto X and the Moto G and the Moto E, however, do have fun interchangeable back covers. You have a folio cover and a range of colours for the Moto G. For the Moto E, you've got 9 interchangeable back covers and a rugged cover as well, or a range of rugged covers to give it that little bit of extra protection. That extra protection is coupled with Gorilla Glass on the front of all of these devices, so they're hardy. They're also nano coated, so water resistant to a degree, although the Motorola at no point recommends you submerge any of these. If we take a look at the actual displays closer into frame, you should be able to make out the actual kind of quality that you can expect. So bringing them in, opening up the applications trays on both, so we have something very, very comparable. We can just pan across and you should be able to make out incredibly good sharpness. So Motorola's gone for a really consistent user experience in terms of quality across price points. Where they've scrimped is there's no camera flash on the 5-megapixel sensor of the Moto E, by contrast to the Moto G and the 10 megapixels on the Moto X. And in addition to that, it doesn't look like there's a front-facing camera up there. We may be wrong, there is a light sensor definitely, but it doesn't look like it from first glance. We are at the launch event, so check the specs to find out for sure. Inside the actual phones, Android 4.4 across all of them. You also have Motorola Alert, a new feature on the Motorola Moto E. Now this activates 3 things. The first one is a Meet Me function. It'll beep on your family, friend or loved one's phone when you actually arrive at a specific destination. You've also got a Follow Me app, which is similar to Glimpse. Anyone who's familiar with Glimpse will actually share your location for a set period of time. Finally, Emergency will set an alarm, so share an SOS with a loved one, friend or family. As far as the internals go, you've got a quad-core processor in the middle one, but funnily enough, the Moto X has a dual-core processor, as does the Moto E. The Moto X is clocked at 1.7 GHz, whereas the Moto E is clocked at 1.2 GHz. 1 gig of RAM, 1 gig of RAM on the Moto G, and 2 GB of RAM on the Moto X. Expandability, you've got expandable memory on the Moto E. You've also got expandable memory on the newly announced Moto G today with 4G. Having said that, the Moto X has no expandable memory but comes with the largest capacity, 16 or 32 gigabytes, whereas the Moto G is available in 8 or 16 gigabytes and the Moto E in just 4 gigabytes. So hopefully that's given you a pretty conclusive rundown as to what is different, what is the same, and what we really quite like about the Moto E, the Moto G and the Moto X. If you found the video useful, make sure you click the like button. If you like the channel in general, subscribe and head over to btech.com. Over there you can find the latest in smartphones, tablets, smart gadgets and some awesome deals as well. Thanks for watching.
At the top of the screen is where you can find 3 hand-picked videos for your viewing pleasure. On the left is where you can subscribe, and on the right hand side you can find some exclusive deals if you head over to btech.com.